One of the major and obvious flaws in Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and the Liberal Party's re-election strategy is that when you go around the country making these impossibly big promises and saying that you can achieve utopia in Canada if you're just given another 4 years in office and maybe another $1 trillion in taxpayer money, is that not only do most people not trust you already because you've only made things worse over the past 8 years, but it sets up your opposition to mock you for these obviously impossible goals that you've set for yourself. A fifth grader could prove that a lot of this stuff is just not possible at all. And this has resulted in clips like this of Conservative MP Leslyn Lewis doing a fantastic job going after Housing Minister Sean Fraser for the impossible promise that the Liberals have made to build 4 million houses in Canada by 2031. Check out this.
Your government has set some pretty ambitious targets to build homes in for Canadians. Your government's goal is 3.9 million homes in 2031. That's 1.096 homes must be built every minute. That's 65 homes per hour. We've been here just over 30 minutes. Has your government built 32 homes in the last 32 minutes, Minister?
My view is that people who would suggest a problem is impossible to solve shouldn't try to interfere with the person who's trying to actually solve it. If your goal is to throw up obstacles every way, feel free, have a field day. I want to solve the housing crisis. My goal is actually based around what I think it will take to solve it.
Point of order,
as I expect, Mr. Chair.
Point of order.
Sorry, I have a point of order. We're going to.
What a weak response from Sean Fraser. Lewis points out, are you really building 1.096 homes every minute? Have you built 32 homes in the past 30 minutes here? And Sean Fraser's acting outraged. Oh, well, how could you say that? Why are you throwing up barriers in front of me? What barriers? She's asking you questions. This is the purpose of the committee, to ask the housing minister questions about how his file is doing. And effectively, Sean Fraser's response is that he's Tinkerbell and you just have to believe in him enough and maybe the houses will start sprouting out of the ground. This is something that will turn Canadians off. People want promises that can be realistically achieved. It's not that people sort of get mad at politicians because they make absurdly big promises that you shouldn't have believed in the first place. People get mad when the promises were achievable in the first place. When you make a promise that everyone knows is just not possible at all, you're going to make people think that you're a party on its last legs, like the Liberals are, and you're just throwing out promises saying that we're going to build 4 million new homes by 2031. We're going to give everyone free dental, free pharmaceuticals. We're going to have flying cars. You know what? We're going to have flying, hovering farms. That's when people just think you're a bunch of clowns that don't know what you're doing whatsoever. That was a great clip from Leslyn Lewis, because the idea in anyone's mind that although, yes, there's a lot of house building going on all the time across Canada, in a country where the population is only 41 million people, no. We're not building a home per minute. And Trudeau promising that was basically just to get these urban progressive university students on board because he's, for some reason, fighting with Jagmeet Singh's NDP for supporters. That's when you know when you're on your last legs, when you're fighting over far leftists with the NDP, because the Liberals know the middle class does not believe anything they're saying. And so they're gearing more and more of their rhetoric to people who are taking anthropology degrees and don't know any better. That when a party comes out and says, we're going to ban companies from hiring replacement workers during strikes, and that we're going to cap rent, those people start applauding, saying, oh, what a wonderful plan. Next, we should ban poverty, and then we should ban crime, because that would get rid of all crime, and we could just eliminate inflation by just saying that inflation's not allowed to happen. Most people live in the real world. Most Canadians actually think we spend far too much money. That's really hard to do, because a lot of Canadians think restricting spending in government is an American thing, and some Canadians don't like being perceived as being like the Americans. So the typical wisdom in Canada is that we should always be spending more money on social services. So the fact that Justin Trudeau has gotten Canadians to the point where 67% of the population in polls say that we spend too much and need to reduce spending, it should give him a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Conservative Party. He has done a better job than the Conservative Party in convincing Canadians that the government should shrink in size and spend less money. Through his sheer incompetence, people now are actually very skeptical of government promises of spending. The universal dental program is a perfect example that we're going to get everyone in Canada universal dental coverage if you don't already have it. And when you go to the Maritimes, I think it was every province excluding, I think it was PEI or like the Newfoundland and Labrador, that in those collection of provinces, it doesn't really matter what provinces it was, but in the collection of provinces in the Maritimes, the uptick rate for actually getting involved in the universal dental program as a dentist or as a dental firm was 0.001%. That nobody in the Maritimes wanted to be involved in this because the entire program hinges on trying to trick dentists into servicing clients for under cost, or at very least, the dentist is basically being paid minimum wage in order to service government clients. That's how all these programs work, and this is what young people need to be taught. The good thing is young people are actually voting Conservative in this next election by all the polling data, still too many of them voting NDP and Liberal. But I think even young people are actually learning quicker than young people used to in the past. That when the government says that we're going to secure this good for you and give it out for free, is that it's not free. One, it's being paid for by massive amounts of taxpayer money. And two, it relies on destroying the industry it's meant to get the products and services from in order to get a small short-term gain. Every time a universal program comes out, it starts off great. Everyone loves it because I got service right away. And you get all these great anecdotal stories of, oh, I hadn't been able to go to the dentist in 5 years. And then suddenly I was able to get my teeth cleaned and this cavity filled. But in 10 years, when that same person is having to wait 2.5 years to be able to actually see a dentist, they're going to realize it was way better before when I might have only had to pay Alberta Blue Cross maybe $30 a month to have most of my dental coverage or most of my dental care covered in a year. That's what people actually want. People like efficient services, not just free service. And it's not even free on top of that. It's just slow service that you don't see the hidden costs of. The average Canadian family of 4 in this country pays about $5,600 in healthcare costs every single year when you actually parse out how much of their tax money is going to the health system. We pay more than Americans for less coverage than Americans. It's a weird world in Canada. But yeah, shout out to Leslyn Lewis. She's a fantastic Conservative MP. And I just want to quickly say before I end this video that if you live in the Calgary Signal Hill riding and you're a federal Conservative member, make sure that whenever the nomination date for voting gets called, vote for me, Wyatt Claypool, number 1 on your ballot. Vote for Michael Kim, number 2. And I don't remember his last name, but I would vote for Dean, number 3. I'm making sure that people actually fill out a ballot so that we have people in terms of the most conservative to the least conservative filled out. There's like 7 candidates. I'll try and fill it in a little bit more as time goes on. But other than that, you can also donate to the legal fund in the description below. It's the Give, Send, Go link in the video description if you want to give money to the legal fund to help us fight back against this billionaire developer suing us for defamation that he hasn't provided any evidence to prove in over 2.5 years of this case ongoing. So that would be very helpful if you can do that. And then I also have the TNT Telegram channel link in the description below. You can click on that, join the channel, and you'll get all of the TNT related stuff posted in chronological order, whether it's videos, whether it's podcasts associated with TNT, podcast appearances on other shows, or articles that we write. Thanks for watching the show. Like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day, everyone.